This video will describe the manufacture and the installation of these L-bracket supports for the Accu-Slice system. In this video, I'm describing the addition of these L-bracket table supports for the Accu-Slice system. These are table extensions that go on the front edge of the bandsaw table to enable you to slice wider boards and also to give you more support for your Accu-Slice system. I did describe these in two previous videos, one on the installation of the hammer version of the Accu-Slice system, and another video on slicing wide boards on the Accu-Slice system. However, those videos were made several years ago, and as a result, my shop has changed quite a bit. I've added some CNC equipment to the shop, and these are now machined perfectly flat using a CNC mill to machine these flat surfaces. So you have a nice flat finished surface on these L-bracket supports. You can make these yourself if you have a little bit of metal capabilities. You can buy this angle iron from McMaster-Carr. It's just simple 2-inch by 3-inch iron L-brackets, and these by iron can has to be magnetic, but you can make your own. But if not, they are available on our website. So this video, I'll repeat the installation, which was shown in a previous video, and I'll show the main reasons for using these L-bracket supports. One of the main reasons for using L-bracket supports is to give you additional support for your Accu-Slice system on the bandsaw. Normally on the bandsaw, the distance between the front miter bar slot and the edge of the table is maybe 3 to 4 inches wide. And that's kind of narrow, and what happens is because the Accu-Slice system has so much weight on its outer surface, it's very easy for this thing to tilt and fall off the bandsaw. And several customers have had the system fall because of that. So by adding these L-bracket supports, I give additional support, and even now, without even clamping it in, this is fairly stable. The other reason for adding these L-bracket supports is to enable you to slice wider boards. Travel distance of my indexing system is only 2 inches, but you could slice wider boards by putting a wider board on here. Because these L-bracket supports are magnetic, they extend out further. I can move this back further on the system, and I can slice a much wider board. So I'd be able to slice maybe 2 inches, re-zero my gauge, and then go and slice another 2 inches and keep going until the board was completely sliced. So because of this, these L-bracket supports, you can clamp on these with the magic clamps, hold it in place while you're actually cutting your board. So you can cut wider boards using these L-bracket supports. But I really feel the main reason I use it is just for support, so this system does not fall and get damaged, because that could cause serious damage to the system if it falls and hits the floor. So in this video, I'll first describe how these brackets are machined, and I'll go and repeat the video I did on the installation of these on the bandsaw tables. I've installed these both on my Laguna system and also my hammer bandsaw. For my Laguna system, I already designed this with 2 brackets. And this is actually an old version on here. This is a real old version. But these are designed to go on both edges of the table. I had to make 2 pieces because my bandsaw blade installs from the front on the Laguna system. If you had another system such as a hammer with a bandsaw blade that was from the front on the side, you could make a wider plate. But you just need 2 pieces on the outside edge to support the table and to enable the magic clamps to clamp, because they clamp on the outer edges of the table. I'm machining these L-bracket table supports on my CNC mill. The iron bracket material from the manufacturer is not perfectly square or perfectly flat on the surfaces. So for the first step, I'm using a 2-inch fly cutter to machine the 3-inch wide flat surface on the L-bracket perfectly flat. This requires several passes of the fly cutter, removing about 4/1000 of an inch off the surface of the L-bracket with each pass until the surface is perfectly smooth. This video is being shown at 5 times the actual cutting speed for viewing purposes. The next step uses a 1/4 inch diameter drill to drill the 4 holes in the edge of the L-bracket. The holes are drilled 1.5 inches apart. These holes will be used to mount the L-bracket table extensions to the front edge of the bandsaw table using some 1/4 inch diameter screws. After these L brackets have completed being machined, they are deburred to remove any sharp edges or sharp corners. This video is a repeat of the video I showed previously on the installation of the L bracket supports on my Hammer Model 4400 bandsaw. However, the same procedures used here can be applied to the installation of the L bracket table supports on any other model of bandsaw. And these are, again, iron brackets. They've been machined flush so that the edges are square, and they just mount on the front edge of the bandsaw table, one on each side. And they mount by drilling and tapping holes into the table and then screwing them in place. So the way I normally do this is I usually put a board across this. And I showed this in a previous video in which I installed these on a Laguna bandsaw. So this piece is just a piece of scrap MDF, and it gives me a flat surface. So when I mount these, they'll be perfectly flat with the tabletop on the bandsaw table. This is another clamp. And this just holds everything in place while I drill the holes. Now this table is cast iron, so it drills pretty easily. So now I have this thing lined up. It's flat with my tabletop on the bandsaw table. And there's 4 holes in this block, but I only need to put 2. So I'm going to try and use the 2 outer holes. Just make sure there's no rib or anything in the way of the bandsaw, underneath the bandsaw table. I have a 1/4 inch center punch, which I can use to mark my holes. And I just tap them to mark the position. And I could drill through there, with it in place. But it actually is probably easier just to take it off and drill it with the clamp, with the pieces removed. And my 2 marks are there, so it's easy to align it. Now I'm drilling through the cast iron, which drills pretty easy. You can use some WD-40, or this is some Tap Magic they use for doing tapping. And just drill the holes and try and get them straight. And cast iron taps pretty easily. Again, I'm using some Tap Magic, or you can use WD-40. And just make sure it's flat with the top, which it is. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And if your holes are slightly out of a line, you can always either drill the holes in the plate a little bit larger or file them a little bit larger. Like this right now sticks above the table a little bit, so I think I'll file that down a hair just to get it level, and that should take care of that. And that completes those. They're nice and flat now, perfectly level with the top of the table. And now you can see the advantage of these plates when I put my Accu-Slice system on it. I have more support. In fact, I have this system the whole way extended, and my mag jig clamps actually clamp to the table. And that just is an advantage if you're slicing wide boards. And but the main reason I put it on is just to support this table so it's not so heavy on the outside edge and tends to flip out. This is a much older video in which I showed the installation of these L bracket table supports on my Laguna bandsaw. Okay, I took some additional steps. I cleaned up my edges to get rid of any burrs, and I did drill 2 holes in each of the plate. These holes are each 5/16 inch diameter. And next I drilled comparable holes into my table. And these holes were then tapped with a 1/4 inch 20 thread per inch screw. So I drilled it with a number 7 drill, then tapped it, and they'll fit these hex head screws, and that'll clamp this to the bandsaw table. I made these holes, like I said, 5/16, a little bit large. That gives me a little bit of slop that I can align this to get it perfectly flat with the tabletop. So all I did is attach these, screw them in place. And then I just make sure it's perfectly level with the tabletop. And I can loosen them up and tap and move around a little bit if it's off of here. And the reason I made this is 2 separate plates. I didn't want to interfere with my bandsaw blade installation, so I don't have to take these off every time I change my bandsaw blade. So I left it just needs to have an area over here to enable the mag J clamps to clamp. You don't need any setup here. So you can just go in like this with a gap in the middle. So the reason I drilled and tapped those holes to make this a more permanent installation. Another option would be use some small C-clamps to clamp it underneath the table, but I want something more permanent that's going to be more stable, so I decided to drill and tap those holes. So now we're all set to cut boards up to 5 inches wide. So in conclusion, by adding these extensions to the front of my bandsaw table, I can now cut boards up to 5 inches wide on my bandsaw using the Accu-Slice system. These extensions were made from some 3-inch by 2-inch angle iron, 1/4 inch thick, available from your MasterCar. They were cut to 6-inch long lengths and then screwed to the index table to mount them permanently. If you choose not to make your own L-bracket table supports, these are available on our website on the Accu-Slice table page. They are available as priced each, so typically you would need to order 2 of these L-bracket table supports. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, as always, please give us a call or drop us an email. And thank you.